You know, I had a video release schedule all worked out for the rest of this week, and now it's just shot to hell. So, today's video was going to be my wrap-up review for Stranger Things Season 2, and then tomorrow was going to be my review of the latest episode of Gotham, but that's all shot to heck because and now there's a big Star Wars announcement that I might have to do another video on, but this I absolutely have to talk about. I can't not. So, we finally got our look at what Jodie Whittaker as the Doctor in Doctor Who will actually be wearing. Now, I said in some of my later videos talking about her casting that I wasn't really going to put any judgment on how I thought she was going to play it because I still don't really know her much as an actress. I've seen now maybe the first episode of Broadchurch. I haven't had time to get through that thing. But even if I had seen that doesn't tell me anything about how she's going to play this. And I had said that once we actually saw an outfit, that might be a better indicator of things. Because really, you think about it, the different Doctors, what they wore was fairly indicative of their personalities in a lot of cases. Now, it's not always easy to ahead of time look at the outfit and predict how they're going to behave. I'm not sure too many people guessed how Matt Smith was going to behave based off that outfit, but sort of looking back, oh yeah, and at the very least it threw off your expectations and everything else. And certainly with Capaldi's reveal, that very tight buttoned up, it looked like a grouchy guy's costume, and he was grouchy, at least when he first showed up. So here we go with this outfit. Now, part of me is thankful that this news happened middle of the day, as much as I'm annoyed that it threw my schedule off, because I've had the entirety of my work day to look at and think about this thing. So I have sort of gone over it. We're actually let's start at the bottom, work our way up. The boots. I like the boots. I like when the shoes kind of don't seem quite right. It was one of the things I liked about the shoes that David Tennant wore, despite the fact that he was generally in a suit. So I kind of like those. They're a little heavier than you would have thought for somebody like the Doctor. And I'm not saying that because the Doctor's now a woman. Like, in general, they look a little heavier, a little sort of more serious than I would have expected out of most incarnations of the Doctor. So that's kind of neat. There's something very playful about the gap between where the boots stop and the pants begin that I just kind of like. And I have no doubt I am overreading into some of these details, but I mean, I've been looking at this thing all day. I'm going to. But like I said, there's this sort of haphazardness to that. There's that, yeah, these things do not go together. I don't care. And I like that. And sort of as we're working our way up, I'll mention you can see the TARDIS in the background and the insignia, the St. John ambulance thing. That's gone. It doesn't even look like it's faded. It just looks gone, which I don't have too much to read into, except the TARDIS is looking a little less sort of fresh, a little more beaten up in general, so maybe that's where that's coming in. Working our way up a little further, the pants in general are fine. I like that there's a little bit of, the color there, the blue, I kind of like. And then we get to the, sort of the middle there. We got the shirt, the suspenders. I'm going to stick a pin in that and come back to it. Let's talk the coat. What I see of the coat, I like. I like that it is long because I just kind of like the Doctor in a long coat in general. I mean, even going back to, the Fourth Doctor to Tom Baker, he looked good in a long coat. I think a long coat is a good look for the Doctor, almost regardless of incarnation. So I like that. I kind of like, again, the little bit more color than we sometimes get. So sort of the silver looking on the outside of it. Also, it is kind of what I said I wanted. It's just enough of that vibe of that initial sort of teaser outfit, which was the hoodie and the coat. So I'm liking that. So coming back to what the hair, I'm assuming that's the hair they're keeping. That's the hairstyle Jodie Whittaker was already sporting. Nothing new there. Looks fine. So the shirt and the suspenders. The principle behind it, I totally dig. And there's a certain thing that this does that I enjoy. Now, first of all, I like the suspenders because they're anachronistic. I like an anachronistic touch on the Doctor. I mean, the 11th Doctor was just drenched in anachronisms, but the bow tie would have been the big one for him. With Capaldi's Doctor, just sort of that really tight buttoned up no collar shirt, that was a little like, that's a little odd. And suspenders are they're not something people really wear anymore. So I'm kind of down with that in theory. And sort of the band that goes across on the shirt, the effect of the suspenders and the placement for that horizontal strip is bringing a relatively subtle emphasis to her curves, because the look overall is not particularly gendered. Honestly, you could slap that outfit on a guy and it wouldn't be like, dude, that guy's in woman's clothes. So, I mean, I like that in general. It's not really gendered one way or the other particularly severely. But what sort of gives you the indicator of her femininity is a little bit of body shape indicated by that horizontal and the suspenders, because the suspenders have to curve just a little around her bust and it's sort of framed there. So without being like cleavage, they give her a little bit of shape to the top, to the bust, without making it feel like they're emphasizing making her trying to look big-chested or anything like that. So I like that. It is emphasis on a feminine aspect without like highlighting it. So I'm fine with all that. However, I cannot ignore my first instinct when I saw this, and that was, it's Mork. I'm not saying I can't overlook that. I'm not saying I can't get over that. I think I can. I think I probably already have. But the fact that that was my first reaction, that bugs me a little bit. Now, to be fair, Mork, which was Robin Williams' breakout role in the 70s on TV, from Mork and Mindy, that's a dated cultural reference point. I don't think that Mork it has stayed in the popular consciousness. I mean, obviously, Robin Williams himself went way beyond that role, and he's known for other things way before he's known for that. So certainly, I'm not sure if people any younger than me really have that as a cultural touchstone, because I mean, honestly, the only reason I know it is because I'm old enough to remember when Nick at Night primarily ran older sitcoms. So that was sort of how I knew it. So if I'm being fair, there is probably a decent chunk of the audience that aren't even going to catch that as a potential reference. And I don't think it's deliberate, because in the details they don't match up, because Mork, he usually had horizontal striped shirt, but it was stripes all the way down, and he had rainbow suspenders. In this case, the suspenders are a solid color and it's the stripe. It isn't even a rainbow. So anyone who's going like, she's got the pride flag across it. No, she doesn't. It's not a full rainbow. It's not the pride. I don't know if now that I've gone off on a mini tangent on that, I actually don't know what the overall response and reaction to this outfit is. I have gone out of my way to not look at what people think about this thing, because I wanted to get my thoughts out and my opinion out based on my reaction. So I'm presuming that there's some folks out there who are saying that. I could be wrong. That would be wonderful. That would be amazing if I'm completely wrong about people saying, she's got the pride flag across her chest, because that would mean that the fandom is behaving better than I expect them to. So that would be awesome, but I kind of suspect some people are at least saying it as a joke, if not dead serious. And even as a joke, come on. But anyways, even though it isn't an actual rainbow, it's got multiple colors in a horizontal, parallel fashion, plus the suspenders, it still conjures up that image. Now, that having been said, in terms of cultural touchstones that you're going to grab onto, Mork is at the very least an alien. So, as goofy as a point of reference as that is, it is at least thematically relevant. So, that's kind of it. As I said, as much as that was my first reaction, I kind of went, the more I think about it, the more I'm kind of already over it. I mean, that said, if you really can't shake the image of Robin Williams in rainbow suspenders out of your head when you look at this, I mean, that's gonna suck for you, and I'm not saying that that you're wrong to hold that opinion. I'm hoping you can get over it because, like I said, I actually when I divorce myself from that specific issue, I like the look overall. I like the feel. I like the vibe. There's just enough touches of it. Almost feels like in a certain way that it's almost like a toned down second take on Colin Baker's Doctor. It was like, let's get some more color in there. Let's get a little more vibrance. Let's have some mismatched elements, but on a much more subtle scale that visually doesn't assault you the way that Colin Baker's outfit did. So I'm kind of getting that vibe a little bit. Which actually, that would be interesting if she sort of has a more abrasive take like Baker was, and she's not just, softer just because it's a woman. That's just a random thought off the top of my head. Who knows? We'll see. We'll find out. In an odd way, you know what I think helps solidify that I kind of am over my initial gut reaction on this is that I saw like a bunch of the fan art that's already been made, and I'm looking at that going, oh, I like it. That's kind of cute. That's kind of adventurous. That's kind of, yeah, I'm digging it. And so, like, in a way, seeing this look get reinterpreted by fans who do fan art, it kind of made me go, yeah, okay. Because that's always part of the problem with these images, these single image reveals of looks for characters, which is that it locks you into whatever this angle and this mood that they chose, and you really zero in on that, and you can sometimes lose the thread of the possibilities of what the thing looks like in motion from other angles, in different lighting, in different just settings and vibes and feels, and because you spend so much time staring at this one image, and just looking at fan art kind of helped me go, oh yeah, okay. And I maybe that's an odd thing to help me along, but it honestly, it kind of did. So that's where I am. I had my initial reaction because of the Mork connection, so I acknowledge that that's there. I acknowledge that if you know that as a cultural standing touchstone and a point of reference, it makes it a little bit weird, and admittedly, it was something that I had to get over. But once I did, no, I'm good with this look. And I'll be, like I said, I'll be really curious. I think the question now is whether the sort of pops of color and the little bits of weirdness, like the use of the suspenders or the fact that the pants are too short and being matched with heavy boots, whether all of this is an indication of something or a subversion towards how she's going to play it. Because again, think of Colin Baker. His outfit was bright and colorful, but he himself was incredibly, grumpy and harsh and all this other stuff. So is how she's going to play it going to play into her look, or is her look in contrast to it? So there's still a lot of possibilities about it. I do like that the feel of this is colorful, and I like that they didn't just photograph her against a white background like they did with Capaldi's first reveal. I like that they've got a setting. She's in nature, she's in grass, there's the TARDIS, a little bit of sunset, like, oh, it's kind of a nice, I like the whole vibe, the whole feel of the thing. But like I said, it did require me getting over something. So that's where I land. It's honestly, as far as the stuff that has come out about what's happening for the next series, this look is probably the thing that I have the most confidence in. Because the casting, at this point, I'm pretty much completely over the fact that it's a woman. Her as an actress, I don't know, so I don't have a call either way. Chibnall, I'm a little nervous about because his writing on the show I haven't been a huge fan of, but he's also run other shows that are supposedly very good. So, but I'm a little iffy on that. They're doing 3 companions. I'm worried about that being an overcrowded TARDIS. All this stuff could work, but I feel like everything else there's more reasons for me to be concerned. And I look at this and like, there was one reason for me to be concerned, the Mork thing, and I got over it. So for me, this is like the firmest, yeah, no, I don't really have a problem with this once I got over that first thing. So, yeah, pretty happy with this, I suppose. What are your thoughts? Now that I've rambled, and I'm pretty sure I've talked circles and come back and made the same point like 3 or 4 or 10 times. What are your thoughts on all this? Whatever they are, drop something down in the comments. Let's talk about it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, check me out on Twitter at Council of Geeks. Give a listen to the Council of Geeks podcast. That is available on iTunes and Stitcher. Also, I am one half of the Punch Like a Girl podcast. That is a presentation of the Fire and Water Podcast Network, fireandwaterpodcast.com. And until next time, this council is adjourned.